John who was on the podcast, and he was telling us the story of his childhood and telling us the story of his boxing days and his time at growing up in Westview in Hartlepool. So I think this will be a great story, Dan.
So where's he going to take us?
He's going to take us to his old hunting grounds. He's going to take us to his old hunting grounds, and he's going to show us where he used to fight. He's going to show us where he used to grow up, and he's going to show us what his life was like growing up in Westview in Hartlepool, Dan. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, Charlie. Are you, mate? Yeah.
Where are we here?
Well, this is Holy Trinity Church in Davison Drive. This is where the madness and that really started for me, knocking about with all the lads. This is where I got my first joint passed. This is where I got, maybe it's not my first kind of lager passed, but this is where I started drinking. And this is where I started on the tablets. We used to finish school, and the lads who I used to come up here with were a lot older than me. So I used to finish school, run up here with the older lads, and then they'd start passing me the half a joint. So if the tablets come out, passing me a couple of tablets, you know. And I've had a lot of madness up near here. That second street along there, down, that's where on my podcast, that's where the stabbing happened with the lad and the machete.
And we'll walk over there later then, yeah?
At the bottom of that street is where the machete attack happened with the lad, I told you about that, and with the lad in the house. Just along there near the skull is where I got it with a cleaver myself, and I received that scar. And further along at the skull is where I chopped the man up with a bill hook along there, Charlie, when all the kids were coming out of school. It was a terrible thing. I had a misunderstanding with the lad, and a lot of trouble kicked off. And I chopped him out front of the skull, so around this little area I've created fucking havoc, mate.
So when really we're talking about, this is the right beginning, isn't it?
This is the beginning,
This is where you had your first joint. How old were you then?
About 12.
Maybe 12. So we're just at the start of this journey, John, and you basically pointed tears where this happened. That's where that happened, and you're going to take us on this journey today. But this is where it all started.
This is where it all started, yeah. This is where it all started with all the lads trying to fit in and be the big man. I didn't understand really what I was doing then. Do you know what I mean?
Paint the picture of the wee lad. How old were you? Paint the picture of that, my wee lad, as you're standing here now and you're looking up at the big grown men. Paint that picture for us, John.
I was no older than 12, and I'd tell my mum I was going somewhere else, you know, because she'd have went mad if she knew I was going to be knocking about with all the lads and that. And I'd tell my mum I was going to play footy or going to knock about with kids my own age. And I'd come up here, to tell you the truth, I was trying to fit in with the lads, but I was all nervous and, you know, trying to impress and fit in, you know, Charlie, and the lads would kick about all drunk and fucking rowdy, and you know, and they'd be
all the hustle and bustle and the rowdiness.
Yeah, that's right. A bit lively, but I ended up loving that shit. You know what I mean? I ended up just
what
trying
was
to
it
be a part
feeling inside? You know, when you're loving all this.
Oh, it was pure excitement being around the older lads. I used to get the butterflies in my belly, trying to be one of them. Thinking I was one of them. You know, and. Like I say, they just put up with me. They took a bit of a liking to me, the lads, you know. Some of them I still talk to now. There's a lot of them not here now, Charlie. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them gone now.
Let's go and tell your story, John, yeah?
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it, yeah.
And where are we now, John?
Well, here we're just entering Skeleton Street, and this is the street I was telling you about on the podcast where that stabbing happened. Yeah, it was just down there, Charlie, where we were collecting the money for the shop. And the lads come running out with the weapons and stuff. It was me and my brother. I mean, my brother was the boy years ago, Charlie, but he's in the madness now, Charlie. He's fucked with the crack. He's a mess. I don't mind saying it.
It was only you and... I mean, your brother man wasn't.
It was only
two of you.
Yeah, there was only two of us, and it was about.
And how old? Were you new, John?
How old was I then? Oh, maybe his early 20s then, Charlie. I'd say. I was a young man anyway.
So, man, you've kind of grown up that. I'm a young lad that was seen in the church of new men growing up. That's my young man, and you're just in the madness now, yeah.
Yeah,
is that right?
Just in the madness, Charlie. Yeah, doing anything we could to get by. And trying to make a few quid as you do, Charlie.
So, tell us what happened to you, John.
So, we went to collect the money at the house, and I just sat on the wall like that. My brother went to the door. We never usually had trouble collecting money, you know, but as he's knocking the door, the brothers have come running out the house with all the weapons, and they've come down the street. My brother's fighting with them and stuff, and I've started fighting with them, and a few cuts and chops dished out, and next thing you know, the older brother came running down at me with a machete, and he came running and got as close to me and you, Charlie, but it wasn't in my DNA to run away. And I stood, faced him, and he stopped, and as he stopped, I turned around and I'll give them on his jaw. I turned around and said to him, look mate, drop that machete, and I'll fight you. And the man threw his machete on the floor. But the mind I was in, Charlie, I always carried a knife. I wouldn't go to the shop without one when I had madness. And you never ever seen it, it was in your ribs, I suppose. And I kept it quiet away the full time. And as he threw his machete, I just said to him, you daft cunt, bop, bop. And I've stabbed him 3 or 4 times in the stomach, just on this bend here, down here. And that was it, we got away. And my nana was brilliant. I remember going into my nana's afterwards, saying, Nana, I've just stabbed such and such up. She was right, so get your clothes off, she cut all my fucking fingernails for me. She fucking washed all my clothes for me and looked after me. So when I got locked up, I had no DNA on me. But when I went through court for that, hi Craig, how are you doing? All right, mate? So when I went through court for that, I got a self-defence charge for that, Charlie.
And tell us where we are now then.
This is the bottom of Skeleton Street, and this is exactly where it fucking happened to you, Charlie.
How does this make you feel when being here now?
Hi Mandy. How does it make me feel here now? This is great, this is home, Charlie.
Man, is this home to you?
This is fucking
You know
home.
everybody about here?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I mean, don't you?
Yeah. It's a good little community, yeah. It is,
what happened with the end of the story then, John? What happened with that?
What happened with that? Well, I got arrested for it, and the full family stood in court against me. They all went to court against me, and I admitted doing it. I said, look, I'd stabbed them. I signed a plea bargain to do 8 years or something like that. And when I went to probation saved my life. She said, hang on, when I told her the story, what happened? She said, this sounds like self-defence to me. I was like, yeah, well, that's what happened. She said, hasn't your barrister asked to fight this case for you? I said, no, he's just trying to get me a plea bargain. She said, hang on, I'm going to see what I can do. I went back to court, they had a new barrister, a retrial, the fucking lot, and I walked out on a self-defence charge.
You walked out on a self-defence?
Yeah, I did, yeah. And as we get to the bottom of the fucking street here, Charlie, it was, I remember the story I was telling you about with the lad in the back alley, when he pulled the knife. We went in the house and chopped him up. It was one of these houses down here, Charlie. Bottom part of Westview, this is Bruce Crescent. Where we're standing now, this bit here, we call it Teletubby Land now.
Teletubby Land?
Yeah, and this is where, these were all houses, right around the edge, and the back gardens were facing in. And this is part of it, they ripped down to quieten it down. And over there, where the bungalows are, that was Carter Drive in Sherwood. That's where all the truckers and stuff used to take the cars and thrash them about around this area. And I spent all my teenage years, my younger years kicking around this bit. I've still got a lot of friends around here. And this is where I used to much about. Oh, well, are you coming down over the weekend? Like I say, I was addicted to heroin by the time I was fucking 14, 15. I remember borrowing money on my 16th birthday for it. Tablets all the time, but...
you can talk us through that, being addicted to heroin, man, John.
Well, do you know what?
What was that like?
Well,
and how long were you addicted to it for?
Well, I started really young with it, and I started smoking cannabis up the church, like I told you, and then at the time there was one dealer who was dealing. We just knew it was smack. We were all kids at the time. We didn't even know it was heroin. I was addicted to it.
I remember those days.
I was addicted to it before I knew it was actually heroin. And we used to get it. The lads used to say, "Smack! It's like having 10 joints at once. It's not your only bag."
I remember
you know
that.
I mean? So we used to smoke it off the tin foil. Then don't get me wrong, I progressed to injecting it and fucking a lot. But that's how I literally got onto it with a few pals. We had like a little group, and like I say, most of them are gone now, Charlie.
How long were you on heroin for?
Oh, 20 odd years, easy, Charlie.
20 years?
Easy 20 odd year, yeah. On and off and on and off. And I fought with it all my life. I lost everything through it, Charlie. Miserable, horrible existence. I was just, like I say, I was just existing. I wasn't living, not like I am now. Do you know? I was just existing, man.
How does it feel, standing here, knowing that you had this 20-year addiction to heroin, the carnage, and the chaos, and then to be standing here where you are now, John?
Do you know what, Charlie? Yeah, sorry.
No,
now I'm out of it now. Feels fucking great to be stood here. I've been telling my story of what it used to be like, you know, because don't get me wrong, it was hell. I've like, not just for me, for my full fucking family, for my friends. None of my friends took fucking, when my real friends like Kroger and that, I had a little drug group, do you know what I mean? And I dare say 99% of them are dead now, do you know what I mean? God bless them, poor lads. But now I stood here, and now I know it doesn't have to be like that. And I wake up and I've got a spring in my step, and I feel this love, and I feel all the emotions, and I'm living now. I'm not surviving, Charlie. I'm living.
You mentioned a bit about your family. Would you mind if you speak about your family?
No.
How did your chaos affect your family? How did that?
It ruined my family, Charlie. It ripped them to bits, and every relationship I've had. My daughter and her mother lived down there. Her mother, beautiful, lovely girl. Loved her with all my heart, Charlie. And I fucked that up through addiction. My house is just over the other side. I'll take you to show you it in a bit. My house where I grew up. I mean, my dad never understood drugs. He never understood addiction. Although he was alcoholic when he was younger, he didn't realise what it was. You know what I mean? But he never ever understood addiction. Couldn't understand why I was doing what I was doing. Like they think you can just stop. Do you know what I mean? They think like, well, really you can, but there's a lot more to it than that. Do you know what I mean? But he thought you could just wake up one day and decide not to. You know, he just couldn't understand it. You know, my old nana, my old gran, I fucking love that one. Listen, she stuck by me through the lot. Doesn't matter how bad I was, whether my mum and dad had thrown me out. I think my nana was always there for me. She always looked after me and mothered me. Do you know what I mean? But I ripped my family to bits with it, Charlie. Ruined every relationship I've had. Do you know what I mean? And now I realise you blame other people at the time. It was all my fucking fault, mate. I'm the only one to blame for all that. Do you know what I mean? That's where me amends might come in handy, do you know what I mean, Charlie?
John, as you stand here and you kind of look about in this area and that, now, what do you see?
Do you know what? I see it for what it is now, Charlie. I see it for what it is now, do you know, like, it's a lot different to what it was then, but I used to walk about and not notice it, do you know, not see anything, do you know? Now I notice everything, but it's not a bad place now. It wasn't then, the people were lovely, do you know what I mean? But I see things for what they are now, Charlie. I'm not living in that haze, I'm not living in that fucking dream, I'm not living in that fear and anxiety and depression. And do you know what? I think it's a fucking beautiful place, mate. You know, this is home to me. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely fucking brilliant, man. That's absolutely beautiful. That's fucking beautiful, man. Where are we, John?
Right, this is the street I was born and raised in. That's my house there. My mum still lives there now to the day, that white one. And like I say, we're a very close family. I've got an auntie down there on the bottom. Where are you? And up on the end there, at the end, the last house in this row, is me nana's. Remember when I said you saw the dog kennel and shit? That's where I used to run, round them bungalows and up to me nana's there and in there. But that's where I was brought up. My dad was a tattooist. We used to tattoo in the spare bedroom.
So this is it then? So this is
yeah. And
so this is the core of it?
You know when pub closing times, when they used to close for a couple of hours on the afternoon and that, the fucking house used to fill up with all drunkards from the, like you say, you'd go to bed and there'd be an old pisshead in your bed, men fucking fighting all over, fainting all over off tattoos and that. You know, I loved it, Charlie, loved that shit, yeah. Brought up there with my brother and my little sister. My brother, like I say, he's fucked now, Charlie, in the madness, he's a mess, my brother. But my little sister, what a diamond she is.
Oh, mate.
See, that's why you can't blame your childhood for it, because she's never put a foot wrong, that girl.
I know.
She's a fucking good, and she's got a kid. Well, I say my little nephews, they're up here now, but she's never took a drug in her life. She worked all her life, you know. So people say, oh, because of my childhood, this, because of my child. And I used to say it, Charlie, till I started trying to recover. You know what I mean? I used to say it, but now I realise that means fuck all. It's me that was the problem, Charlie, you know. And like I say, she's a lovely girl, my sister. I still go over and see her now. It was their fella, Big John Sharp, who got me into community links, because he used to work with Craig and Steve. Yeah, this is where I all grew up and this is where it all started,
So
Charlie. I loved it there, honestly. I did, yeah. Loved
So
it.
this is the centre focus where it all happens. This is where
yeah.
you're brought up. Oh man, your family still live here.
This is it. And over there, over the road there, was all factories. Most of them, nearly all of them have gone now. It was all factories, and that's where we used to knock about and fucking climb about and be where we shouldn't. Do you know what I mean, Charlie?
This is a wee John, man, climbing about the trees and the factories and about it.
Yeah, little twat, eh? Little shit I was. But like I said, it's made me into the man.
Did you ever think, John, did you ever think that you'd be standing in the street when you were born, your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, telling your story, mate?
I never would. I never did. Do you know why? Because you can never see your way past the madness. You can never see your way past your addiction. Like, you think that's you forever. And if I wasn't in jail with it, I'd be dead. Like I say, I was in them 2 comas in the same year. My dad found me in a house up there with a needle in my arm, overdosed once, you know. Breaks me out to this day. I remember him saying to me, son, as long as you live, I hope you'll never have to see any of your children like that. You know, ripped them to fucking bits.
Yeah, that's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, found me on the bathroom floor. Yeah, found me on the bathroom floor with a fucking needle in my arm. Charlie doubled up. Yeah, got phoned the ambulance, and then it wasn't an oxygen and that. They put an adrenaline shot in my ass. You know, brought me out back round. And yeah, I always remember him sitting me down saying, son, I hope as long as you live, you never have to see any of your kids like that. It's like I say, understand addiction. I just wish you could see me now, Charlie.
Oh, he can see you now, mate.
Yeah.
He can see. How does it feel knowing that your story, doing what you're doing today, telling me your story, the real John, the real nuts and bolts of it, that real darkness as well. How does that feel when you're telling your story to others, and so that others can see, that others can look into your story, John, and take bits and go, fucking, if John can do this, how does that feel, John?
Well, this is exactly what I'm doing, Charlie, so people can see it doesn't have to be like that. Like, I was a fucking idiot in that life. I thought I was this, that and the other. I was not but a scared little boy, Charlie. Do you know what I mean?
Likewise,
and this morning, Craig took me to a gentleman's house who was struggling with alcoholism and addiction, and I got to tell him a bit of my story, and I got to talk to him to tell him it didn't have to be like that, and explain where I was and where I'm at. And I think he's coming in. Going to try and change. And I'll tell you what, I feel great for it. It's a beautiful thing, Charlie. It's a fucking beautiful thing, mate.
Let's go and tell your story of recovery. John, so we've told the story about the madness in your life, growing up as a wee lad, standing on the church, looking up to your peers. Then we told the story of you fighting in the streets, and we told the story of Westview, man, growing up. And really, why you were here, John, is to tell your story of recovery. You know, I dare say, man, John, when you had enough times in your life that enough was enough. But if you could just tell us when you actually, is enough, and you walked into your recovery where you're sitting right now, John.
Yeah, Charlie, the recovery side's the best part of the story. Yeah, like I say, I tried a lot before, pushed into rehabs and cold turkeys and stuff, but I wasn't ready for it then. I wasn't ready myself. But I got out of jail in November, 21st of November. I finished my last sentence. It was only
24, John. You 2024.
Yes, just gone November, just gone. Yeah, I got out on the 21st of November, just gone. Yeah, and I'd done a 14-month sentence for ABH. But after when I got out, I was homeless, lost everything in and out of jail. Not even a bit of fucking ID or anything, you know. I got out, I had nowhere to stay, so my pals had put me up, dossing here, dossing there, not comfortable, just existing, like I say. My sister took me in over Christmas, and I told her I was clean, this, that and the other, but I was still getting pre-gabs and tablets and stuff. And over Christmas, I was fucking falling asleep over my Christmas dinner, and nephews and nieces in the house, and I was fucking monged in the chair, you know what I mean, Charlie? And my brother-in-law used to work with Steve and Craig up the arcades.
Steve and Craig, community links.
Community links, those guys are legends to me. Those guys, for what they do in their own time, those guys are fucking my heroes, I suppose. And my brother-in-law told me about community links, and then they never thought I'd go the way it was. They never thought I'd go. So one night, my sister had put me out because obviously she couldn't have me there, the state I was in, you know. And I was staying at me pal's, fucking sharing his bed with him and the couches and anywhere to get my head down. One night I said, I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
So I'd had enough, Charlie. I was sick of myself. I'd had enough myself. So I thought, I'm going to go here. So I thought, I popped along for a cuppa. As soon as I walked in, there's Craig with a big smile, big hug. Lovely to have you here. I walked in, and then there's all the other people recovering in there. And straight to the counter, big Steve, kettle on, big smile on his face. Anyway, sat me down and spoke to me and told me where other people are and how they're recovering. And I went back the next week, and then the next week, and he offered me to get me into A&E, Addictions North East, the rehab. So within a couple of weeks of walking in community links, I ended up in A&E, the rehab. And it's a 12-step program. A beautiful place, beautiful people. All the staff and everything have been where I was. But my first week in there I was ill, coming off the tablets and that cold taking. I was ill, and I never thought I could stick it. But my housemates at the time, I had a couple of housemates, and they looked after me, kept me right, you know, and all the lads did in there. And I started going into the classes and getting into the classes. Well, it's a 12-step program, isn't it? And they tell you to find a God of your own understanding. And I was all right with that because I'd been in Christian rehabs and things where fucking religion's rammed down your throat.
I know them, yeah.
Where I walked into Addictions North East. The community links got me in there, and taught to find a God of my own understanding, that there was no rush to, and you know, and work it out for myself. Do you know what I mean? And then they put me up in one of their houses, and to learn you a bit of, do you know how to survive by yourself, Charlie?
Independence,
to get me a bit independent, you know what I mean? And moved me in with my housemate, Sean White, lovely lad he is, honest he is, and we're good together, we're all right together, you know. But everything's coming into place. I mean, even my friends and that are pulling me now and sending me messages all the time. My best pal Kruger, who I told you about, love that man, messaged the other night saying, "Are we seeing me in some horrible dark places and you can't believe how well I'm doing." And I've even had him to church with me, Charlie.
What does recovery mean to you, John?
Recovery to me means life, Charlie. Now it means life, and a beautiful life at that. See, I don't have to go to no one's houses now and sit with fucking Glocks in bags and waiting for lads coming and just go around and have me tea, a cuppa and talk about recovery.
I love what you just said,
watch
John.
A movie and, you know.
I love that.
Beautiful. Peace, Charlie.
Wow.
Find that peace. I'm still going through it, still, you know what I mean? But peace,
such an
contentment,
man.
you know what I mean, Charlie? Yeah, I'm loving it, mate, yeah.
I love what you've just said there, John. Life, recovery means life, mate. And I think that's one of the most beautiful answers I've had back when I say that. How do you feel now that and I look back at that, my wee boy, you and John, when we started the story, the wee boy in the church, and he's looking up to his peers and smoking that joint and that, and now, John, what would you say to that, my wee boy, now, where you are right now? What would you say to the wee boy now?
It's going to be all right, little fella. You're going to have to go through a lot to find yourself. You're going to have to walk through hell to find out who you really are, mate. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be frightened. But you're going to be all right, fella.
Can I ask you one more question?
You can ask me anything you want, Charlie.
What do you see, John?
I see everything. It's beautiful. I never noticed anything for years, Charlie. I'd walk with my head down, fucking just waiting to score or going to do drugs. Now I see everything for what it is. It's a fucking beautiful life, Charlie. beautiful, mate.
Can I give you a hug?
Come here, man.
I love you.
Thank
bro.
you for all you do, Alex. I love you, man. You're a friend for life.